Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator. Today we have a massive recreation of the Battle of Zama. This was fought in the year 202 BC between Hannibal Barca and Scipio Africanus. Essentially, this was the final battle of the Second Punic War, and it was won by the Romans. However, today we are going to see if we can recreate this in Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator, and history might be changed. We never know in these kind of battles. I have made the setup pretty much as fair as possible. I've used a custom Roman Legion unit, and we have the normal Persian stats. I've used T-Rexes in the form of... they're going to be represented as the elephants. Actually, I need to change that to custom because I created a custom one because the units for the base T-Rexes are far too high. So let's change that back down to 80, and we're going to see how this goes. So if you're happy to see Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator back on the channel, please do let me know in the comments below, and let me know what future scenarios you'd like to see, and of course make sure to leave a like on the video. That is one of the best ways of helping out the channel currently. So let's hop into this scenario and see what we're going to do. It's very unlikely that I'm going to interfere in this kind of scenario. However, I am getting... oh, balls. I need to change the teams around. 2 tick. Okay, so in this particular scenario, I probably won't be changing around what I do. We're just going to let the scenario play out. I'm not going to take control of the units if I can help it. However, if I do so, it's, you know, it's just how I play the game. So there's no point getting ragey in the comments. Just FYI, I see that a lot. And, you know, it's just sometimes when the AI pathfinding is really derpy, I want to try and customize the scenario so it actually makes it a bit fairer. However, in this one where it's just armies clashing upon armies, I don't think that's necessary. So the Carthaginians have 1,000 more infantry than the Romans, and they also have the 80 elephants, and then they're outnumbered in terms of cavalry. They have around 1,000 less cavalry than the Romans, which is traditionally they were outnumbered. The Numidians went over to the Roman side, and they had slightly less kind of Romans than... sorry, they had slightly less infantry than the Carthaginians, but the Romans are slightly higher trained. Traditionally, the elephants... well, the Romans adapted their tactics and they just went running through, and then they were kind of basically speared and killed. However, today I imagine they're just going to go bowling into the formation and inflict some hurt. So, without further ado, let's get this started. And in we go. The elephants are charging forward. And it will definitely be interesting to see... oh. Well, history has repeated itself. It looks like they're getting at least some kills. Yeah, they definitely have more kills against the Romans. And now the battle between the infantry and cavalry commences. So in the battle in 202 BC, we had the Romans and the Numidian cavalry allies manage to defeat and rout the Carthaginian cavalry, and then they managed to go around their flanks and utterly annihilate and rout the poorly, well, slightly less well-trained Carthaginian infantry. But here we have the elephants. They've already fallen. Maybe I should have kept their stats a little bit higher. But hey-ho, too late for that now. So at the moment, we've got 14,800 v 14,700. And the cavalry both appear to be... I presume they're attacking each other. They are. The cavalry are engaging in combat. And it looks like the battle is actually being... oh, it's not being fought over the elephants anymore. It looks like the Roman legions are killing more than the Carthaginians at this stage. So it might be an early inclination as to how the battle's going to go. However, it's still far from over. So if the cavalry is managing to hold position and keep the majority of the forces at bay, then I think they've got a chance. But it might go the way of history at the moment. The Romans are now outnumbering the Carthaginians by 800 troops. I thought the elephants might have had a bit more of a role to play. And it looks like the cavalry is beating back the Carthaginians at the moment. So if they can get around the flank and into the main body of infantry, then they're going to have a little bit of trouble. And in fact here, the cavalry has just been able to go straight into the infantry. So as we can see here, we have 150 health with those soldiers. And with the Romans, they also have 150 health. However, their attack is slightly higher. We can see the cavalry engagement is still going on. And it looks like the Roman line has had a bit of a bulge here. So I don't know if that was the elephants inflicting what casualties they could, but it wasn't enough to rout the Roman forces. So what they got an early decent attack going on there. I know I keep referring to them as elephants, but you know, the T-Rex is the closest to an elephant we have in the game. I am also going to do the Battle of Cannae at some point, and there is also the option to have the... I know a requested battle by a lot of you is the Battle of the Five Armies. That is still one that I could do, but if you could give me like detailed, balanced stats that you think might work, then I'll see what I can do with that. Let's just turn cinematic mode on. And we can see that it looks like where the Romans kind of have a higher block chance than the Carthaginians, the fight might go their way, but it's certainly not... Well, I was going to say it's certainly not too far into the Romans' favour, that having the extra attack I think really helps go a long way, and the increased block chance. Over here, we can see that the infantry is punching a hole in the enemy cavalry. That was probably greatly assisted by the elephant attack there. I was surprised at how quickly they all got utterly destroyed. That was kind of hilarious. I was hoping they'd last a little bit longer. But hey-ho. We can see how the Roman line now is just punching through the Carthaginian centre. The cavalry doesn't seem to be going the way of history. They actually seem to have cancelled themselves out a little bit. They are assisted by some of the infantry, so it looks like here the battle is actually... Well, the flank on each side is just about holding. Over here, let's see what's happened. Okay, so the cavalry, the Roman cavalry, or the Numidians, as we can call them, have managed to get around the Carthaginian flank and is starting to actually envelop their position. So that is bad news for the Carthaginian force here. They do still have a chance, and it looks like the AI kind of pathfinding is improving a little bit. Which is great to see, actually, because that was getting kind of frustrating, seeing them kind of mess around a little bit. Okay, so let's turn off cinematic mode for the moment. And... oh no, that speeds it up. I still need to change that back down to... Okay. So here we go. The Roman legions starting to force their way through the Carthaginian line. As we can see now, it looks like the Roman legions are going to win this. They do outnumber them by about 4,000 troops now. However, over here, the Roman flank is buckling a little bit. So if the Carthaginians can keep pushing here, it's looking tough for them, but not impossible. Especially over here, where we kind of got a little bit of an engagement. I'm not really sure which cavalry is fighting with which. It would be nice to have like the team colours. But hey, you know. Well, actually... yeah. Looks like they're going to break the Roman flank here. Oh. But over here, though, yep. The Romans are definitely having a ball over here with their Numidian allies. They're just pretty much enveloping and just destroying the Carthaginian flank. So as the battle reaches its final stages, we can see that the Carthaginians have pretty much been annihilated, but they have broken the the Roman flank here. So the Romans are pulling men to help out, try and push them back. So after this, I'm going to run the scenario again briefly to see what would happen if I left the T-Rexes at their normal HP and attack, and see if that would have affected the battle enough to enable the Carthaginians to win. Because I think that I nerfed them a bit too much, thinking that they were going to be OP, because I think they had 10,000 health and 500 attack. And I reduced that to, I believe, maybe 500 health and 100 attack, which probably wasn't enough. And as usual, the weather is mostly sunny, with some sun. But the Carthaginian centre is very close to buckling and breaking. The flank has been absolutely decimated, and these little fellas are having an absolute horrible time. So with only 1,000 troops remaining, we can see that the Romans, they've lost over half their troop, but that hasn't been enough to give the Carthaginians victory. They have been absolutely slaughtered. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it so the Romans have their normal stats, and the elephants also, or the dinosaurs, T-Rexes, whatever, also have their normal stats. I'm going to see what happens if I would have kept everything as normal and not tried to change the stats around to make it, in my opinion, fairer, but really has gone against. It hasn't gone the way I wanted. So oh gosh. So the cavalry actually seem to be able to do a better charge now, which is also awesome. So I'm glad they actually seem to be able to kind of ruffle stomp infantry a little bit better. So we only have 40 Carthaginians remaining. Technically they're called Team Persia. And what is the temp? Oh, it's 7 PM and the sun is setting over on the battlefield. And with that, the Roman legions are victorious in the Battle of Zama. So let's go back to the menu and figure this out. Try and make it a little bit fairer. So that's 8 AM. Okay, so the Roman legions, you can have Ancient Greece, Roman, and then 13,000. And then here we have we'll change that to animals, T-Rex, 80 of those. And let's start the battle again and see if this would have made any huge impact to the battle. And this is the new feature where it's got the automatic cinematic camera. But you can regain control of it just by panning the camera once the units have loaded in. So here we go. This is the original. This is the units of all the original stats. And it looks like the T-Rexes are doing a bit of a better job now at destroying the Romans. Wow. Okay, yeah, they're losing a lot more troops now. Oh. So their health is going down really quickly. But they're definitely doing a grand old job at destroying the Roman force here. Cavalry is engaging. But, wow. That has really affected the battle quite a lot just by adding in the elephants. I'm just calling them elephants for the sake of it. With their normal stats. So they've lost. The Romans have lost 4,500, and most of them are still going. So a lot of the T-Rexes are still going. Yeah. So it looks like once they lose all of their force, of elephants, the infantry probably still will win this fight. So let's actually toggle up the timescale and just make sure that I'm right in thinking that. The fact that they've lost half their force compared to not even 1,000 of the Carthaginians is it's pretty clear in my mind that the scenario will definitely go the way of the Carthaginians. Now, we've even got some elephants that have just destroyed all of the cavalry, and infantry are breaking through. Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely going to go the way of the Carthaginians. I don't really see a way that the Romans can win. They've lost most of their infantry. And the entire Carthaginian force is pretty much still intact. We've got 13,000 against 5,000. So even if we took into account the stats from before, when the Romans were slightly more buffed up, the Carthaginians still now outnumber the Romans enough to win the scenario. Hands down. So there we go. A couple of times we've run the scenario a couple of times. One victory to the Romans, one victory to the Carthaginians. So I'll probably say goodbye here. But tell me in the comments below what battles you'd like to see next, or if you're just sick of Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator altogether. I'm not. I'm personally still having fun. It's great to be able to recreate these kind of scenarios and have them run as well as they do, because I can't run Total War scenarios this large without reducing it to like 1 frame per second. So I'll say goodbye now, and until next time everyone, I bid you a very, very good day!